Alrighty. Everything should be fine. Yeah, everything looks good. Just gonna make sure YouTube has actually caught up. I believe it has. Should have. Alright. So this week some coastals. And the main reason for that is that my motivation to play Blue Water has gone absolutely down the drain because of next update. Next update is changing so much in terms of battle ratings and matchmaking and the folders and research stuff that I'm just gonna wait playing Blue Water until the update actually hits.
Ai posti di combattimento. Allerta collisione. Timone, tirare tutto babordo. Tutto babordo.
We did get a full up there because of Murmansk. So this is going to be a difficult one, I believe. A very difficult one even.
Bersaglio individuato. Caccia torpediniere.
Our team that's quite able to be a bullet sponge for me.
Timone a babordo.
Just turn the sound down just a little bit. So it's not that loud. 57 being launched, well, fired behind me from the Guichet is quite loud. Seems I lost my rangefinder. Frigate. It might be one of the better targets for me to go for. Although, the PR-206 is just free RP basically. Murmansk, that's gonna be dangerous. Let's shoot at this frigate. Red solo half. Good assist, I will take this. It's a Fletcher, and I don't really want to anger it. That's an Italian destroyer that could hurt with his HE. So let's shoot just that. And we are now being engaged by the anti-air guns of... So how are those? Are going to be the pom-poms then? Be short on all evolution somehow. I think torpedoes just blew up there on the Patsahara, the rear ones. And more anti-air guns. Patsahara should be going down. I think it's a British destroyer actually shooting me, but it's also just went down. It was a bit rough, but we're still doing okay. More anti-air, this time from the Fletcher by the looks of it. shoot over this bridge from that range, really. Really. Not even that range, okay. So I guess Murasame it is. We're bleeding kind of quickly. We should be able to make it. My objective obviously being taking the C point, as the B point is a little bit too exposed for a frigate like this. That Alvin might make a good target. Because unlike the later American destroyers, it doesn't get anti-frag plating along the hull. So HE can still do a number against it.
We need to put more pressure on the enemy. They're winning.
We'll fire until we're clear of this bridge. Or it can just get blasted apart by Omaha, or Murmansk. Lost a point, which I believe is Albin. Let's see if we can bleed some crew by just hitting the gunmans. Hello there, Ferdinand. Been a while. Well, the shrapnel modifier actually does do something on all ships. It's negligible, but it does do something. I don't think it is any special effect to the anti-frag plating on American ships, but the anti-frag plating on American ships just works against HE. That guy is carrying a lot of mines. That's going to be a problem. And there, hopefully. He is dropping said mines. He is dropping the mines. And I'm questioning why the Murasame hasn't actually moved onto the C point. Because we kind of really do need it. Let's enable... Is my radar knocked out? It is. That's bad. That's really bad. Okay, the Guichin is moving in, but I swear he's just going to run straight into a mine, isn't he? I don't really know what the battle rating changes really mean yet. It's a lot, and without being able to properly see them, it can be a bit difficult to place them well. But from what I can tell, the battle rating changes now practically mean that all the ship types will actually be more than just one battle rating. So destroyers won't just be 3-7 to 4-7, basically. And cruisers won't be 5-0 to 6-0 with battleships being 6-0 to 7-0 anymore. That's not going to be a thing. I did see that the overlap between cruisers and battleships is still kind of rough. Although a lot of the better battleships, the better, more competitive 7-0s are moving beyond cruisers. So that's good to see. But there's still definitely overlap. A lot of the good destroyers are moving out of range of the reserve destroyers. That's good. It's difficult. It's difficult to tell how drastic and how effective these PR changes are going to be. At least to me it is. The Guichin is completely oblivious. Yep, not quite. But it's going to be a bit too late for him, I think. Check better gun arcs. I haven't seen any economy changes yet. I'm hoping there'll be one. But for the time being, I don't see any improvements, but I don't see it becoming any worse than it already is. Okay, apparently the Guishan survived as a counter with the PT-15. Somehow. There's damage from things. It's you that's shooting me, okay. I think the Guishan just found a mine. There's no coastal BR changes. There just aren't. But with a lot of the more competitive destroyers from 4.7 moving up to 5.0, it should make it a bit better for 3.7 coastals. There's a lot of 4.3s also moving up to 4.7 and the likes. So yeah, it should improve the higher end coastals a little bit. They'll still have to fight destroyers, obviously. But yeah. Not much to say about it, really. We'll have to really wait and see until the update hits. I did find it interesting that there's a lot of new groupings being made for cruisers. That's going to be very nice. Like all the American treaty cruisers, the 5.3 which I think are actually moving up to 5.7 next update, are all grouped. So 2 of them become basically half off, which is really nice. What else was there? The Russian Chapayevs are all being grouped, and I think being moved down a rank as well. I need to look at that spreadsheet again. There's not an awful lot left in this match for us to win it. Is that going to go straight for the B point, but the F6F is going to kill him, maybe? Or just run into him, draining our tickets even further. Always lovely, always lovely. Of course, it's a Z-15 with tons and tons of AA guns. I'm really low on health. There's another aircraft coming in. Please don't just crash into them and not kill them. I'm just trading tickets. And that's done. Okay. Well, if you've unlocked Arkhangelsk, you still need the rest of the rank to actually get to it. Like if I look at the Russian tree real quick, you will still need all 4 of these to actually test sail the Sovietsky Soyuz, because you'd need the entirety of rank 6 to unlock rank 7. Which is a real pain, but that is how it is. Bad modification progress. Let's see, okay. Let's see, one is slightly ahead of my Albatross now. And we keep going. Now, if you only need one more, that's going to be nice. But yeah, that next update, man, it's something. This is not a great map for 4.0, especially 4.0 frigates. So let's see what the matchmaker actually does with this.
Mettere in sicurezza
Middle
la nave
spawn is not the worst. Okay,
motori
Frank Knox
a
for
massima
7.
velocità. Tutto a tribordo. Bersaglio individuato.
Moffat 5-0 full up there again. Actually, it's Moffat moving up to 5-3, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So that thing is going to move up to 5-3. That's going to be interesting.
Timone a mezza nave. Timone a mezza nave. Sì, signore. Tutto a tribordo. Sì, signore. Timone a tribordo. Sì, signore. Girare a tribordo.
Now, luckily, if it is just destroyers, they shouldn't be too keen at shooting at these kind of ranges. But this map is way too big for me to actually do anything. So it's just probably gonna be a casual sailing. So whilst I'm at it. Also, just from a glance and having looked at all of these BR changes, they do make sense to me. There's nothing really in there that I find too egregious. Especially when it comes to some of the battleships being moved. Makes enough sense. Some of the Japanese heavy cruisers moving down is a bit of a surprise to me, though. Like with Kako and Furutaka and Aoba moving down to 5-3. It's going to be interesting. Especially because Agano is staying 5-3. So that does basically mean that Furutaka, Aoba and Agano have quote-unquote the same combat capabilities as a Moffat, which I'm not entirely sure how I feel about, but okay. I mean, yeah, as long as the Miyokos are 5-7, the Furutakas and Aoba shouldn't be 5-7, it shouldn't be the same BR. But you'd think that it actually moved Miyoko up in BR and maybe just fix its horrible crew like compartments. But no. The Miyoko and, by extension, Haguro are staying the same BR. At 5-7. With Tone moving down to 5-7 as well. I think Hyuga and Yamashiro could possibly go up to 7-3 as well. But at least they're going up to 7-0 again. Still, they could probably do with being 7-3, especially since all the Congos are 7-3, but then Hyuga and Yamashiro aren't, so okay. Yeah, the thing is, the reason Tone doesn't have float planes, Ferdinand, is because that specific fit of it didn't carry any float planes anymore. So yeah, it doesn't get any float planes. Because they just stuffed the area where all the float planes are with more AA guns. They sacrifice float planes for anti-air guns. I'm tempted to start shooting this Bagley. I should. Just a salvo or two. What the help with repairing to who? Okay. Roma is getting a float plane on the dev server, as far as I remember. Just the standard row, whatever, 42? 43? I don't remember. Yeah, it sadly doesn't get the RE2000 and something. Although that's on the float, but it's just a fighter to my knowledge. Like with no floats attached to it or anything, so to be perfectly honest, I'd rather it get a normal float plane even though it isn't technically correct. Because with just a fighter you can't cap any points. And that's basically most of the utility of float planes. I really shouldn't be shooting other salvo this back because he's gonna sink either way. So let's switch to this Yamato. There we go.
Thank you very much. Our victory is near.
And there's a little short. Well, I don't really like. With every decompression, some BR changes are a bit questionable, but I don't think these are too offensive. Doesn't look. Well, actually, the ones that are offensive are the ones that didn't get changed. Like, for example, when you look at the German ships that got changed, it's not a big list, surprisingly. So the Nuremberg is being grouped with Leipzig. Okay, nice, cheaper cruiser. Graf Spee is moving up to 6.0, but not the Hippers. The Hippers are staying at 5.7. Despite them currently being one of the better 5.7 cruisers. I mean, yeah, I think so as well. It just depends on what year you look at, I think, for Roma, but I'm not entirely sure.
Bersaglio individuato. Caccia torpediniere.
15
I wouldn't really say that. Well, actually, you could argue that the Spee should stay at 5.7, but the Hipper should move up. The Spee is not that good, Graf. It really isn't. Its rate of fire combined with the just terrible armor is not great. The Ikoma is also not moving, to my knowledge. Yeah, no, Ikoma is staying at 5.7. Yeah. Spee did used to be a meta at some point. Okay, hello there, French destroyer. I want to try and hit these crew compartments up front. My guns are really finicky with their ranging. And I'm already almost dead. I've spent 10 minutes to sail to this point, and I'm going to get destroyed by a French destroyer already at the spawn point. True frigate gaming. Yep, not my free crew members. At least I can try and take that guy down with me. And of course I sailed behind a rock because I want to get into cover, but yeah. So he's going down as well, I believe. And the rear gun is also being masked by the rock and assist. Fun. mean, yeah, also the other thing about BR changes. They're never permanent.
Motori
They will change again.
dietro tutta.
It's just a matter of time.
Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento.
La nave perde galleggiamento. Bersaglio individuato. Cacciatorpediniere.
I am still kind of holding out for any economy changes though, because a new rank got introduced. But a lot of the cruisers being foldered does already improve grinding a bit.
Posti di combattimento.
Because it'll make a lot of cruisers cheaper to get, cheaper to spade. It does also mean that it reduces their spading rewards, which is a bit of a shame, and I'm going to get flipped over by this goddamn Moffat anyway. Quite.
Inclinazione critica a bordo. Cacciatorpediniere. 240. 8000 metri. Simone, girare tutto babordo. Tutto babordo. Sì, signore.
And we'll just follow cargo ships. I'm not sure that Moffat just spawned behind me, but I think it did. That is kind of funny, Gordy. It is kind of funny. They could have their moment in the sun for just one update.
Nemico colpito. Incrociatore leggero. 220. 9000 metri. Il nemico si inclina e perde velocità. Sì, signore. Rivare a babordo. Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento.
I'm actually going to go to the other side of this boat, because I don't think I'll actually be able to overtake it before it reaches that island. I don't really want to go the long way around.
Simone, a mezza nave. Simone a mezza nave. Sì, signore.
Thank you.
Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento.
Trying to think if these models are actually showing their age or not, because these are ancient ship models. Still look pretty good. Although this one has been shot up quite a bit. And we just keep trundling along at 33 kph. Yeah, just some minor scratches.
Cacciatorpediniere. Buffo. 220. 7000 metri. Bersaglio individuato. Nave da pattuglia. 200. 12000 metri.
I think the scuttle timer is actually made to prevent that kind of thing. To prevent people from just not being able to be sunk. Also, it is very bold of you to assume that a Yamato will get anywhere near an island before it just violently explodes. Although I have heard that the ammo rack locations of it on the dev server are completely incorrect. We're going to have to see what it'll look like when it reaches the live server. Oh yeah, I've already talked to some people, and we were immediately we're going to get a 10 goal custom mission. Obviously. I think the Team Sim guys are probably going to do something along those lines.
Simone a tribordo.
And if they need a Yamato player for it, they'll know where to find me.
Bersaglio colpito. Il nemico si inclina e perde velocità. Simone a babordo. Sì, signore. Girare a babordo.
going to be a bit awkward trying to get the Yamato though first up, like as soon as the update hits. Because, and I've said this before, the really awkward part of every single factory getting a new top tier means that you lose your research bonuses for every blue water tree. So if I want those research bonuses again to continue my grind in other trees, I need to get Yamato first, really. And I know that the research bonus doesn't apply for new ships, but I still have other ships I need to grind. Ones that aren't new. I mean, they've actually fixed the Bismarck armor on the dev server recently to its actual values. And there's a reason it's an 8.3 and not an 8.7. I sworn I saw a 12% Moffat somewhere, but I've lost it. There you are. I think it's behind the island, isn't it? Well, can try.
Bersaglio individuato. Cacciatorpediniere. Tutto a tribordo.
It doesn't, though. It doesn't have similar armor to Scharnhorst, and it shouldn't have. You know what the biggest difference is between Bismarck and Scharnhorst in terms of turtleback? The Scharnhorst's turtleback curves towards the deck armor. Bismarck doesn't. It is just a straight edge. And that difference, as minor as it might seem, it isn't minor. The Vanguard can Citadel pen and detonate a Bismarck from 10 kilometers away. So, yeah, no. It's going to be a fun time seeing all the, wereaboos looking at Bismarck and then just dying. Another interesting part with the BR changes is the aircraft. That all jets with guided weaponry is being moved beyond naval BRs. All of them. So the memes that we could have of the F-117, not gonna happen. Which is probably a good thing. Yeah, but the thing is, what battle rating is Scimitar? I haven't actually checked because somebody did mention it to me as well. But what battle rating is Scimitar? Because if it's an 8.7, it can't get into a naval match because the highest battle rating ship that Britain has is an 8.0. So they can at most bring 8.3s. Oh, that one was close, but not close enough. Both just firing like that. Get over here. Repeater both as well. Oh, this is. But the thing is, it's still bullpups, isn't it? The Scimitar? I don't really see bullpups being any real threat to a battleship of that battle rating. I'm not entirely sure if Gneisner will be better than Bismarck. Bismarck still has one more turret, even if it has a slightly inferior armor layout. But Gneisner's lower BR might make it a good thing to use. Tickets, and that was a heavy caliber shell just landing from over there, I assume. To an almost full health Oknavoy, which not fun. Who are you? you. You're hurt. Good. Engines. Shoot the engines. He's looking right at me though. And those are kind of scary guns. And I just ran out of ammo. So go hold. That's gonna work. Thank you. Yeah, that's okay. Okay. Let's get some turret reverse. Okay, Phoenix wants to join this 4.0 madness. Also at 4.0 you can just play normal destroyers as well. Actually, I had to think about it. How many 4.0 destroyers are actually going to be a thing after next update? Because the Alvin is going down. Okinawa and Riani are moving up. You still have the German one. Kalp and Bresenden are moving up, as well as Abdeel is going to 4-7. Ooh, okay, I skipped over that somehow. Alright, Army's moving up. Leon and Tigre are moving down to 4-0, but Impetuous is moving up. I don't like seeing a Mitsuki at this battle rating because we're at least 4-7. So why is there a Mitsuki here? Speaking of said Mitsuki.
Sorry. Roger that.
Just gonna make sure I can actually go where I want to go. Because the SKR might be trying to push his way in. I'm kind of looking forward to the Yukikaze. Very good quickie chain again. Because it's the kind of unique layout for a Japanese destroyer that we don't have in game yet. Although, for those that remember, Shimakaze was going to originally have a similar turret layout and anti-air layout. With the super firing rear turret removed for more AA. But quite some backlash when the Shimakaze was first announced. I don't understand why, because it's a thing that really happened. But the Yukikaze now getting that exact same layout is going to be interesting. Oh, that's another thing about Yukikaze. Yukikaze has the same 1-ton long lances. So that's going to be spicy. Especially at 4... Was it 4-0 or 4... I think it was 4-0, wasn't it? If it stays 4-0, that's going to be very spicy. Down. Why is there a Clamstone enemy team? Who knows? Yeah, the Mitsuki's actually pulling his weight, so I'm not complaining. Look at the torpedo detonation design now. It kind of looks like it. Knox is smoking, which... Okay, that breaks my lock, so... Let's see if there's any coastals in the area, but oh, never mind, there are. What are you? Okay. M17, or M82, actually that's M82, isn't it? If it's an Yamato 2, it deserves death. So we're going to bombard it. Actually, I can tell what it is now when Yamato 2. Just noticed it's also hidden 5 kilometers, and then you can tell what it is, so... Can't hit it for anything though. American is not on target, but shooting. Always love to see that. A bit too far to really do anything to it. Let's focus on some destroyers instead. Although it seems the Yamato 2 might be angry at me. Very likely something else there.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
I have seen that as well. I'm not sure what's going to be about, and it seems to be a Japanese-only movie. Or a movie just, you know... Yeah, I think a Japanese-only movie. Don't really know what to expect from it. Don't think I'm going to watch it, really.
Keep it up and victory will be ours.
Knots is well and truly into their coastal spawn. And the Yamato 2 hasn't given up yet, but it is going to broadside them for me now. Ooh, I actually managed to get close to Samurax, but didn't quite knock them out. He's going to be immune behind that focus ship now. Well, I think the SKR spotted him. You see through rockets in the air. I have no clue what the Yukikaze movie is going to be like, so I wouldn't really say anything about the movie yet until it's actually out. I get a feeling I'm going to get shoved aside by Frank Knox, but no, he's aware, thank God. I'll take an assist. Need to keep an eye out on the radar though. Let's actually back up and get out in the open more. I thank my teammates to have the C point on lockdown. Need to worry about that. And then we have a Typhoon. Just a few speculative shots. We'll see what happens. Let him dive.
Bersaglio individuato. Marca.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Bersaglio agganciato.
There we have a target. The Frank Max isn't take it, or my guns don't go empty.
Bersaglio
I'm
individuato.
still flying about. There we go.
Colpo diretto. Abbiamo perso un agganciamento del bersaglio.
There's things on the flank. We'll deal with the coastal first. What's out there?
Bersaglio
Low health.
Marca. Bersaglio aereo distrutto. Timone a bordo.
Okay, just a minute. City is low health, but I think it's going to be either game over before I get to it, or it'll sink before I get to it. Yeah, there we go. Decent match. Despite the relative up there. Now, it is a arguably terrible thing to unlock now, but I am very curious about the depth charge throwers on the Alcyone. Because one of the major differences between it and the Albatross is the different depth charge setup, so I'm just very curious what this actually is. So we'll just research the depth charges. And making good progress on the Alano as well. North Port, okay, I'll go. Don't really want to combat around sea, not with Alcyone. So let's go into the icy rocks towards the B point. Nah, I don't think they've ever done naval. No, I shouldn't say that. No, I don't think they will do that. Because they have done it with game modes, like you could buy into the closed beta test of ground, you could buy into the closed beta test of naval. But I haven't seen that being a thing for vehicle types. It's like making Supersonics a pay-to-enter event. That wasn't a thing when Supersonics were at it. Wasn't a thing for when ERA tanks or ATGMs were at it. Don't think they will be pre-order anything. I think they'll just be added as normal. They might be a test thing, so you... No. Actually, no. When they add new lines, you can buy into those. I don't know. Well, new nations, not new lines. I've never really thought about that, whether or not the submarines would be a thing like in a testing phase where either you could buy into it or do like X amount of stuff to gain access to it. Never even really considered that. I don't think that'll be the case, but it could be. Could be. All I know is that when they do add submarines, I really hope they'll add Japanese ones as soon as the submarines come. I'll switch to radar. I don't think we'll see any aircraft anytime soon, but it doesn't hurt to just switch to the radar. Where I'm going, I won't need my fire director anyways. that submarine event was like 2 or 3 years ago already. That was a long time ago, really. It's a bit of a shame because I did have a blast with the event, and I think that that submarines will have a place just fine. Yeah, the problem with submarines in the encounter game, would they actually ever reach the convoy before the timer runs out? Because remember, they're slower than battleships if they're below water, and even above water they're not that fast. And above water they're incredibly vulnerable. And the mission timer for the encounter game mode is only 25 minutes. And it's already pretty hard to get to the enemy convoy, like... Yeah, they're 40 km/h max speed surfaced. Chagall, that's the thing. Surfaced. With a few exceptions here and there, I believe, but I'm not entirely sure. There's the snubbit.
Tutto a tribordo. Tutto a babord. Sì, signore. Timone. Mezza nave. Timone a mezza nave. Sì, signore. Bersaglio colpito. Bersaglio agganciato.
I've said this plenty of times before. Also, there's an action aircraft up there. I've said this plenty of times before, but I don't think submarines will be really a threat to blue water ships. I think genuinely that submarines should be in coastal games, as long as they have deck guns, so you can just use the deck guns against coastals. He's already damaged. Those are looking decent. They weren't decent. I think he's become aware of my shelling though. Nope, nope, no he wasn't. There goes a wing. And hello there, little Italian speedboat. I don't have any shells loaded. That's bad, that's very bad. That's a torpedo, but I saw him launch it. I can just counter turn it. I just don't want him to launch a second one. There you go. I think he also launched it at Barker, so let's down to the other way. Where is that Schütze? Well, there's a Clemson, that's going to be a bigger concern. Okay, he did torpedo the Barker, that's a bit of a problem. But we can do this. There's another aircraft up. Okay, he's turning, so those shells will not hit. I have to be careful of my surroundings. There's the Schütze. And God, my front gun is blind because of my bow and the way I was turning. I'm going to put gunner to air duty only because I don't want the aircraft to suddenly just gank me. That's an AI with no torpedoes, so that's fine. You are scarier. Well, as scary as a Clemson can get, really. Center my guns. Center them again. The aircraft is inbound. Seeing as well this Clemson guys, you can just do them to go because you're annoying me. Is this Clemson carrying torpedoes? He is. He definitely is carrying torpedoes. He's not launching them for some reason. There he goes, launching. And now I'm going to be in trouble because I don't know where I'm going. There's a torpedo boat in front of me. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy. And I can't shoot over the bow because he's shot at the turret. The thing is though, he's not launching these torpedoes and he's not going to launch in time. Okay, I managed to defeat one of them. Of arming distance. The other ones though, more problematic. There we go. Shooting from the front. It is a BMO. Flooding is under control at least. So forward to move at angle. It does. Stop shooting me, stop shooting me, stop shooting me. Just die already. Thank you. Severe damage? Okay, that means I'm engaging an aircraft. That's worrying. Oh, hello, Aras. How are you doing? I am a little bit screwed at the moment. Lost my bridge, also not great. That's not a shitzer. I can't shoot over the bow, and I can't turn because I've lost my bridge. The Aras is going to ram me. Back to George's there's more shooting me. It's another Aras. Okay, well it's on the end still. That was hectic. And all because I had to dodge torpedoes from a Clemson. Well, in for round 2, I guess. Can we snipe that kill? Can we snipe that kill? Get an assist at least. No, I think he's already dead. That's a little bit concerning. Don't really have the combat range to engage these targets over at any point. Oh, that guy's close enough. It is an AI, but that's fine. I'm a little bit surprised that he's taking that much damage to his bow. Looks like he's ate a torpedo. But AIs don't usually do too well when eating torpedoes. Can I hit this guy at all? It seems like we've cleared out the B point at least. Hello. More aircraft. I'm shooting a little bit short of the lead indicator because I am moving. The radar lead indicator does not account for your own momentum, so you do have to take that into account when shooting at air targets. Okay, what just shot me and destroyed half my crew. And there goes another quarter of my crew. Oh, it is the Mutsuki, okay. That's not great. Just keep moving into cover, please. Thank you. That's a lot of HP lost already. Let's put that radar back on. Something is shooting at Tucumcari from over there. Where are you? Times at 1. Launch torpedoes. It is a player. Interesting. So I'm definitely not going to go down that way. And that is a meat. Yes. Aircraft.
Just keep it up, and victory will be ours.
Bersaglio agganciato e monitorato. Timone a
I don't really know the exact reason why they didn't want to add the beehive, but I have heard it's, I think, mainly because of performance reasons. And also, arguably, the beehive shell isn't that great of a shell either. Probably because the thing is, the beehive shell is not just Yamato. All battleship grade cannons have that shell for Japan. Hello there, Time Crystal. That thing has torpedoes. That thing has torpedoes. He has launched the torpedoes. So now I do have to turn the other way again. Reloading. Come on. Don't you dare Dr. Bomb me. Brave of you to just turn away. Why are they on the B point? Why are they on the B point? We have a G-class right there.
We no longer have the advantage.
Oh, live with an assist. Not entirely sure what those torpedo impacts are, but okay. And there's a PT-9, PT-20 rather, which does have torpedoes, so it's a threat. I can't see the torpedo trails for the Italian ship that launched torpedoes at me, so I need to be more careful. We're just cutting into the B point.
Controllo dei danni alle postazioni.
I don't think it would be effective against coastals because the beehive shell doesn't explode top down. The beehive shell explodes in the trajectory of the shell. So if you were going to hit something with a beehive shell, a coastal vessel, you would have hit it with an HE shell. But oh well. I would still love to see the beehive shell as well, just for the fun of it. But I don't think it would be particularly effective in the game either. Bit shocked that the G-class, instead of doubling back towards the B point that got kept behind them, is just moving away. A little bit of a dubious tactical decision, you could say. God, there's another us again. Oh, delete his guns. Then delete its hull. I think I can actually splash damage that magazine in front there. I can. I want something. It's out of gun range now, but it's really low cruise, so if I do see it again I can just blast it. There is another one. There he is. Yep, I think somebody got his shoulder as well this time. That's not me, yeah. That is dead. I got him, nice. Nothing on radar, no hostiles on radar at least. Yep, Phoenix wasn't doing too well. Time to blast a reserve French coastal. get out of here.
Mezza nave.
I think that's a friendly aircraft on radar, isn't it? It is. Good. I know you can identify friendlies by having the bar above their box. But still.
Motori. Avanti tutta.
Oh, he's aware I have VT. Okay.
Motori.
But that's going straight into the ocean.
Bersaglio perso. Caccia torpediniere.
Alright.
4-0. 500 metri.
Impressive.
A tutto l'equipaggio. Abbiamo subito danni critici.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Tutto a tribordo. Tutto a bordo. Sì, signore.
And now for the rest of the match, we'll just sit here,
Fighters.
waiting for either aircraft or coastals.
7000 metri.
Because there's absolutely no point in me going to the A point, and by the looks of it, there was no point in our friendlies going towards the A point as well, because I think both of them are sunk.
A tutto l'equipaggio. Abbiamo subito danni critici. Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea
That was a G-class that went to the A point. Quite clearly no longer in a G-class. And there we go. Another decent match.
Ritirarsi. Riporre le armi.
And a camo for Albatross, although it's a unicolor, so I'm probably not going to use it. Let's just get another... That's not the one I want. Where's the Warbond Shop? There it is. Let's get another naval task. Sure. And we'll go right into the next one. Black Sea Port. Although, do we have decent destroyer spawns? Semi-decent. Is it an up tier? That's a bigger question. Yes, it is. Small match. But I can change Emden, so it is a full up tier. Yeah, the cruisers have to spawn one behind, but that's basically the same spawn, so we are in for a rough time.
Tutti ai posti di combattimento. Motori.
We definitely just want to go to this island and maybe go towards the island number B
Timone.
and see how far we can get.
Caccia torpediniere. 260. 9000 metri. Posti di combattimento. Nemico avvistato. Bersaglio individuato. Caccia torpediniere. 260. 9000 metri. Timone a babordo. Sì, signore. Stivare a babordo.
Yeah, definitely not the best map for this boat either. We'll see what we can do. Don't think we'll be facing any enemy coastals. And even if we were, we would not be in range of them to effectively deal with them. My squad mate is, luckily.
Bersaglio individuato. Nave da pattuglia. 280.
Yep, I literally don't have the range to shoot at. My maximum range is 9.7. Good to know.
Barca. Botola. 240. 6000 metri.
I'll fire a salvo in a direction, but I don't think I'll ever get a kill when the rest of my teammates do them in. Yeah, no.
Bersaglio colpito.
Okay, that looks like some angry 3-inch gunfire, probably from the Murasame.
Bersaglio individuato. Nave da pattuglia.
That is a Yugumo. Can't quite tell yet, but that should be a Yugumo. That's going to be a K or an N class. Or a Jervis, you know, J class. Still need to learn the exact differences between all those British destroyers. The K, N and J are quite close to each other. 5 kilometers is starting to get into my striking range, but I don't yet want the attention. So I'm not going to engage just yet. That Yugumo, on the other hand, is getting, or should I shoot at the British destroyer? I think either would work. Although the Yugumo is beeline towards the captain point, I think. Both. I should deal with both of them at some point. I'm going to choose to shoot at the Yugumo first. Before it gets into cover. Yeah, he's now in cover. Let's light up the British destroyer.
The Allied forces have captured a zone.
Some return fire. Let's see if we can do some bit more damage before he gets into cover. I think that's it. That is an AI, luckily. And I will try and do the same thing and get into cover. So that fortress. The Russian destroyer is not much of a threat and I can't really deal with it at that range. So I won't. Keep an eye on this PR 1331. I think that's the frigate I'm currently researching in the Russian line, the thing I'm shooting at. But man, it does not look that fun. It only has one main gun, it's on the rear of the ship. It still is a 4.0 frigate. Incredibly squishy. As you might be able to tell. Just frigate shooting me. Seem to have pretty decent forward firing arts, at least on the rear gun. But that rear gun also just carries high explosive. And it is still just one of them. You know, Phoenix. I'm not really all that worried about maximum minimum BR. I know that coastal is a little bit rough, especially depending on the... Okay, hello, Mitcher. Oh boy. I need to swap targets really, really urgently, and that is not an AI. But I think the decompression for blue water coming next up is already pretty much where it needs to be at. 8.7 is a really good maximum BR for what we were getting, in my opinion. So I'm happy with that. Okay, and the Jervis finished me off. It came around the corner as I was occupied by the Mitcher.
Let's keep the pressure on. Victory is close.
Where's the Yugumo?
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
get back to that question for what maximum BR should coastals and blue water be. As I said, blue water I think is going to the appropriate maximum BR next update. Coastals, I don't really know. I don't. The problem of higher BR coastals is that they often don't fight other coastals anymore. But with a lot of the higher BR destroyers moving up to kind of beyond coastal ranges, I think that should be improving. We'll have to see. It's a bit difficult to predict what BR changes will actually do. Especially very big BR changes like this one. This is a human, it isn't. It's still dangerous. Rally was just engaging my squad mate. Okay, that's concerning. Right, she doesn't quite have the pen to deal with engines as yet. Which is also concerning. That'll be the rally that shot my squad mate. There we go. And a mixture over there, just this teammate in front of me.
Controllo dei danni per riparazione delle parti. Vuotare gli scompartimenti allagati. Timone a mezza nave, sì signore.
I get the distinct feeling that we will not be winning this match. What are you shooting at? A Japanese bomber by the looks of it? I seem to be carpet bombing something, but I don't think that's going to work out for him too well. And he's going straight into an Emden. Which doesn't work, this public housing doesn't do anything, he just plays through a ship. So, okay. Boy, Clemson class. An actual human Clemson class as well. You, an alternate boy, some Higgins on. Luckily the Clemson isn't the smartest, he's immediately repairing his engines, which is something you should do when fighting a frigate like this. Because repairing your engine just means I have to shoot the same area over and over again and eventually kill your crew. That should be the clown's going down, but I need to sink him. Because he's actively shooting me. So I need to deal with him. And one more salvo might kill me. Which... There it goes. I'll think I'll just bring Impetuous out for one match, for one spawn rather, and see what I can do with it. Okay, taken down. So the cruiser over there. The Yugamo has been behind the beat point the entire time, which is almost impressive. Okay, more lead.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
I'm glad you switched to the as well. Just keep an eye out for aerial threats. Speaking of, he's already flying away. Got severe damage. Nice. Some farting GT salvo did something. There we go. There was also the clown's note that sunk me, so there's a nice bit of revenge. Traded. Not sure if by gunfire or by torpedo, but it did trade. Forgetting that the deals are so fast. So the Omaha over the 8 point, I think. Shells, just get into the engine room. I don't think it's going to happen anymore. The tickets are draining rapidly. This would have been good if he didn't dodge. He did. It will be game over. Oh well. Yeah, not the greatest match for my frigates. But we'll keep going. As long as Phoenix wants to. Oh, Coral Islands have a frigate. I don't think I've actually had the chance to get this map in a frigate yet. Well, let's go to the sea point. Because I usually play around the A point and a destroyer, but I don't quite have the range nor the real hitting power without any AP, and I'll see on it to do that. So let's go for the more conventional C point, I guess.
Motori a massima velocità. Timone a babordo.
Because I don't really know how to approach the C point from this flank.
Allerta collisione.
Or this side. Full up tier once more.
Posti di combattimento. Nemico avvistato.
Quite a few destroyers that spawned over near the A point. That guy spawned in the middle. I think the only real way I can approach is going to this island. Then to go around a long way. Maybe flank their positions before moving to the sea point. Because if I go straight for the sea point, I'm just exposed to the middle and their other spawn. I just don't really have the range to fight at this. Well, to those spawns.
Bersaglio individuato. Nave da pattuglia. 260.
So I'm going to take the long way around.
Timone a babordo. Sì, signore. Girare a babordo.
Actually, just mainly worried about being open to that side. Because what I really should be doing is just push to this little inlet here, so I can have a little bit of cover.
Tutto a tribordo.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll see what happens. If I get shots from long range, I'll get shots from long range.
Bersaglio individuato. Caccia torpediniere.
Back in front, that's an AI. That's a player. That's AI.
Timone a tribordo.
Yeah, I'll probably be better off being a bit more aggressive. If I go the long way around, it's not going to be great.
Forces have captured a zone.
I think, going on your questions here, Phoenix, I think the future of naval is going to be interesting nonetheless, because there's basically 3 ship types to now develop into, and all 3 of them have questions with them. Submarines and carriers. Submarines will never be the new top tier ships. That's just never going to happen. They're going to slot into like 3.0 to 4.0 or 5.0 range, and that's it. Until we go to modern submarines, but let's not think about that for the time being. Then we go to aircraft carriers, which are really difficult to balance into a normal match. Because just of how vulnerable they are, how long it takes to set up a strike,
Caccia torpediniere.
how strikes actually, you know, how long it takes for a strike to do something. Although I think they're going to happen at some point. But that's definitely the biggest if of all of them.
Timone a babordo.
Okay, I'm getting shot from long range. The exact thing I didn't like happening, but I think it's actually that guy shooting me.
Bersaglio individuato.
And he's really
Nave
off.
da pattuglia.
Yeah, so there's carriers, which are bring difficulties along with them. I think they'll actually do pretty well in EC, but not in normal matches. And then you have the missile ships. The issue with missile ships is that they do not hard counter battleships in War Thunder.
Bersaglio individuato.
Because the thing about ships in this game in general, you cannot mission kill ships. So whereas a missile in real life knocking out a bridge or knocking out a turret would send the ship back to port, that is a 30-second repair time in War Thunder. At worst. And in return, missile ships have no armor. To my knowledge, no real way to defeat shell fire, except for maybe really advanced sea whiz. So it's just awkward. You can't really make him top tier, because if you make him a higher battle rating than battleships, whilst not being able to counter battleships, people will just drag their battleships up into missile cruisers and dominate. So that's going to have be some weird thinking there. I do think that missile ships will be the top tier, but there's going to have to be some thinking about how they're going to separate battleships from missile ships. At least that's what I'm thinking. And you also have gradations in terms of missile ships. You have missile ships with really rudimentary missiles that are only really anti-air purpose, like the Bravi. Well, the Bravi you can use against destroyers. It's not really optimal. Just kind of worried about what we're doing here, but I have to do it anyway. Okay, I had some help with that well, that was great. But yeah. I think the future for naval is going to be a bit of an interesting one. You know, I think there is a place for pre-dreadnoughts. The problem is they're not that fun to play. If Ikoma and Kurama are anything to go by, they're not fun to fight against, they're not fun to fight as. It's just... Yeah, they're just like, I think they're cool ships. There are definitely very cool and interesting World War I era battleships and cruisers. I think the Elbing is one, isn't it? A World War I era cruiser. It's just that they're... How do I say it? They're kind of just below par for what the rest of the ships are capable of. So if you're used to the capabilities of World War II destroyers, cruisers and battleships, I think for veteran players the transition is going to be very difficult. But even for new players, going from a late World War II cruiser or a World War II cruiser to a World War I battleship, it can be a rough transition. Okay, who is just shooting my darn radar? It's me. Like, I think you'll be hard pressed to find people who actually like Ikoma going from something like a Miyoko. And also, Clipsubs, I'm not entirely sure what USS Luce is. I did hear something about a PC-10, which I believe is a... Oh, what is this ship called again? The one of the Bushmasters. Cyclone. USS Cyclone. That's it. I've heard something about apparently there being a leak of a USS Cyclone Premium, which could or could not have missiles. I'm not entirely sure. Like what is it? Griffins or Griffiths? I don't know what missiles they are. I don't really know much about missile ships in general. It's really my area of naval interest. Like this 5-inch guns looking directly at me. Going to hurt. Or not. Oh, you should. I need to go full back. Full back. Oh yeah, of course, we have way more Cold War stuff to add for actual true modern ships. My other kind of problem is that some nations just stop having a meaningfully big navy after World War II. They do still have some ships, but it's very, very different naval development.
Danni per riparazione delle parti. Nuotare gli scompartimenti alladati.
Although I'm not too familiar with actual post-war naval stuff. I think, personally, I would rather see carriers than missile ships. Like, I would rather see carriers first before missile ships, is what I should say. And I'm fairly certain we'll see both at some point.
Abbandonare la nave.
Just have no clue which one will come first.
A tutto l'equipaggio. Abbandonare la nave. Abbiamo perso l'agganciamento del bersaglio.
Either way, I'm going to be very interested in what's going to be coming for naval in the next few years. With battleship development finally being done, yeah, I'm just curious to see where the focus will be. I think submarines are a pretty high chance for the end of the year, or at least end of the year, somewhere next year. I'll definitely submarines. But beyond that, there's some battleships you can still get, some good filler. You can get the other fast battleships, the KGV. And then there is still the like paper battleships everybody can get, like the H-39, the Lions, the G/N3, although I think it's only one of those two that can actually get laid down. A150 I think is a possibility, I'm not sure. But like Shinano, which is just Yamato but with 100mm guns instead of 127s. Montana sadly isn't a real possibility, I think, because it never got laid down, but I'm not totally sure about that. But yeah, just have to go to North Carolinas.
Timone a tribordo.
A pre-war one. I'm not I don't know, I'm not really the biggest fan of going the like older and older battleship generations because they're just not fun to play in my opinion. The guns feel anemic, the reload is so long compared to cruisers, the armor usually is not up to standards to actually resist cruiser fire even, so just not great. But at the same time, who knows really where we're going? Who knows? I think I wouldn't say concern, but my biggest interest right now is just submarines. I would love to see submarines sooner rather than later, to be honest. And see how that's going to work, and beyond that, we'll have to wait and see. I think quite a few carriers actually had catapults in World War II. I don't... Again, I am interested in ships, but I don't actually know an awful lot about actual historical ships, other than the ones we have in game. Because I just know my in-game ships.
The enemy's getting closer to victory.
But I do believe that there are actually quite a few World War II carriers with catapults. I believe a few British ones had them. The German ones had a really interesting system of catapults. I'm not sure about the Japanese. I don't know actually about the Japanese. I don't think any of their fleet carriers had catapults, but the light carriers, I'm not sure. Especially their later ones. Like the late war ones, but I just don't know. I need to rewatch some of Drakinifel's videos on the late war Japanese carriers. I keep forgetting what classes they are actually, what their class names are. Yeah, I don't recall any Japanese carriers having catapults either.
Il nemico si inclina e perde velocità. Incendio avvistato sulla nave nemica.
Another problem I can see with carriers is just the fact that it's basically just 3 countries have carriers and that's it. I did see that one Phoenix, I did see a Zuiho video, but I should have actually watched it with a bit more attention. I didn't really pay too much attention to it, I just put it on in the background. Like, if we're going with... So Japan, America and Britain have just tons and tons of carriers and different kinds of carriers, from escort, fleet, light, and even smaller. And then you have Germany, which almost produced one. You have Italy, which almost produced one. You have France with one converted Bretagne, for as far as I know, was in Normandy. But basically a converted battleship, which was apparently not good. Then you have Russia, which had plans for some. It's just... And that's about it. I think the Germans do have a few more plans they could work with, like converted ships, and then a few more. Like, Italy has one, Russia has 1 or 2, France has 1, and that's it. And is that really fair for, like, some nations to just not have carriers? I don't know. I know about the, God, what is his name again? Aquila? Yep. Okay, Mediterranean port is not great because we have to cross this open gap before we get into cover. And is it an up tier again? Let's find out. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about carriers for the time being because I just don't see them happening anytime soon. I see submarines happening much quicker. Probably, yeah. And the Alcyone has been treating me pretty decently. It's HE only, so you do have to account for that, but yeah, it's fine. It's a bit squishy if you get focused, but plenty of frigates are. It's slow. That's probably my main concern about it at the moment. It's very slow. And the rear gun doesn't have the best of firing arcs. But other than that, it's been okay. This map is not going to be okay, but yeah. Oh yeah, HE has been buffed. Was it this patch or the patch before? And it's been a lot better. I think it actually got buffed this patch, didn't it? With the kinetic penetration. That is just how naval is. It always has been, it probably always will be. It is just something you deal with. Technically speaking, on most ground maps you are also within range of the enemy, you just don't see them yet. And I've had this argument before, even during live stream, well, this discussion before on live streams. The reason why the spawn situation is so awkward is because these maps were fundamentally not designed for this amount of blue water ships. And these kind of blue water ships either. Got way lucky with no ammo rack detonation there, I think. so I shouldn't be saying that too soon. There we go. Oh, Douglas. Who is pushing up way too aggressively past that point without realizing there's destroyers here, I think. Yeah. You know, I don't exactly know what you're referring to with that song, but I might unironically just be blasting music from Space Battleship Yamato if I'm going to grind for it. Who knows? I probably need to make a playlist actually, just to get ready for whenever that happens. It's been a while since I watched it. Maybe should again. I think there's multiple series of Space Battleship Yamato, and I never... There's so many of them. Like, I don't remember which one I've only actually watched one of them, and I don't exactly remember which one it is. But it is one of the older ones. The thing is, they're not going to remake maps. That is just not what they do. If they were to remake the naval maps for modern standards, they'd have to remake like 90% of them, like all of them, unironically. That's just no. And again, it might just be me, but you just learn to deal with it, with how the maps are. You learn to deal with how the spawns are, you learn to deal to just get your ass into cover as quickly as possible. And, go, really. There are maps that are just unequivocally bad for whatever ship type you're in. There are maps that are very good. Just is how it is. And if I might be a little bit... how do I say this? A little bit mean, maybe. I think people just need to learn how the maps work, instead of wanting better maps. A lot of how a map will work for you also comes down to what you choose to spawn out. Like, I can usually deal with any map depending on what, you know, but there are more optimal things I could spawn in. Then again, that kind of just goes for your entire lineup, really. Like the Italian 4.0 lineup, there are way better ships I can use. One of them being Impetuoso, just a much better ship than Alcyone and Albatross. Yet I still spawn Alcyone and Albatross because I want to play them. Oh, hello there, half of the enemy team. Seems I've chosen a wrong point to just come out of cover. I have all my guns knocked out. Crew, we're still repairing, so we can get the other gun back. I believe. Okay, getting rammed by the Mogador. Not great. Really not great, because my guns get thrown off by it, and I get shot. Lovely. There we go. help. It's not looking at me. That's combatant actually. It's a French flag.
Attack the enemy.
If you're still at destroyers, you're gonna be in for a while. Get the Scharnhorst.
Posti di combattimento! Nemico avvistato! Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di dilettamento! Timoni a babordo!
4.0. If I'm just running through all the possible lineups you have. There are fun lineups at 4.0. Is it the best battle rating? No, because op tiers are really rough. 4.7 is a lot better if you like destroyers, because you have really competent destroyers at that battle rating. Although,
Controllo dei danni per riparazione delle parti! Svuotare gli scompartimenti allagati! Riparare le parti! Iniziare il controllo dei danni!
more damage? I don't really know, because I don't know what you're already shooting at. But if you've been seeing what I'm doing, let me think just for a second, because it's German destroyers. German destroyers have basic high explosive. They have some pen, not an awful lot. They have some pen. Target engines. Just target engines. For early destroyer combat, the best way to kill crew is to target engines, because new players usually repair their engines during combat, which is not something you should do. Shoot engines, know where the crew compartments are, and just click on boat. It's difficult to kind of say, because I don't know how you're playing, I don't know how you're shooting and what you're shooting at. So I don't know how you do more damage, I just know how you do damage.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Timoni a babordo! Sì, signore. Tirare a babordo. Caccia torpediniere! 220. Ranimamento.
Yeah, Evan, getting back to your comment, the reason why 5.7 has so many down tiers is because 7.0 is a maximum battle rating. And 6.0 just gets sucked up to 7.0 all the time. Especially now, with those battleships announced, a lot of people are going to get their battleship lineups ready, because people need the entirety of rank 6 to unlock the new battleships. So everybody's grinding the battleships like mad to get ready.
Timone! Mezza nave! Bersaglio localizzato!
That actually reminds me, I see that I don't have it, but I don't have it for this caliber gun anyways. You know you can get hit markers that will tell you what your shells do on each salvo for naval. I'll get into some options and controls when I'm back in the hangar. Also, an important question, do you play realistic or arcade? I'm gonna get bombed, I'm gonna get bombed, I'm gonna get bombed, I'm gonna get bombed. Just keep reversing, just keep reversing. Okay, we're good, we're good. Realistic, okay. Do you have the distance correction set up? This one. Do you have that set up? Because it's a must. You can also just set it with this one here. Good, good. Because it is a crime that is not a default keybind. And it's incredibly important for realistic battles.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
If he's grinding for Bismarck and he's currently playing Leopards, he has a long road ahead of him as well. Alright. Let's switch to the radar. Okay, he just got squad mate. The thing is, naval EC is not that great, in my opinion. It is very prone to crashing due to server overload. It is not more efficient for research, and it is literally whoever gets their battleship first wins. Because there is no matchmaker, no BR-based matchmaker in EC. So if you're grinding to get a 4.7 to take part in EC, you are not going to have a good time, because you're going to be fighting battleships. It can be. It can be. I don't want to shit on EC too much because I think it has potential. It just doesn't fulfill that potential. I've heard of that, but I don't play EC. I don't know really. Yeah, again, I can understand the allure of longer and bigger maps. Longer matches, bigger maps. I do like that every now and then as well. I'm just going to say it's not the most efficient research method. It just isn't. And it's Frenchy, of course it is. For those that do not know, I know this guy. He is the he's a buddy of mine, basically. He's really, really dangerous with Fritz axe. So I'm happy to see that he's not in a German lineup. Because that man is lethal with a Fritz axe. Well, that is gold. To rush towards the B point, really. Nothing much really, just playing, you know, 4.0 frigates. If they don't get sunk by destroyers and fill up tiers. Speaking of which, I thought it was a fill up tier, but it was almost a fill up tier. I haven't seen any cruisers about. I'm just grinding my Italian boats because I don't feel like I'm doing anything else. Oh, SKR7, and it's Frenchy, not great, not great. He needs to be put down quickly. Luckily, SKRs are actually not that difficult to deal with. If you can hit them first, that is. And my guns are not wanting to cooperate. And I'm now sailing away from the V point, which I didn't want to do. To basically check the SKR down and add for the count if I can hit or get an assist, that's fine. I'll switch on my radar. That's fine. Cool win. One player kill is what we need though, not an AI. Random can kill the plane. Oh, there we go. Game over. And we got ourselves that unique mortar thing for Alcione. And let's get some speed upgrades. Yeah, that is a bit of a unique setup, but I'm kind of curious how they actually work. And we've got hedgehogs on the front as well. Yeah, we have progressed quite greatly towards Alana, at least. Is it a 50% discount? Also, let me actually check what battle rating Belfast is going up to, if it's going up. Oh yeah, Belfast is going up to 6-0, so... bit of an oof. But that doesn't really change its matchmaking all too much. It's really squishy, and what is... actually, hold on. I can see how expensive it is, can't I? Because I do not have Belfast myself. 4,000. What's 4,000 GE? 20-ish euros for a rank 4 premium. If you want to get Belfast, sure. I think Diamond is a better early grinder though. HMS Diamond is just going to be much better to get you through the early ranks. Whilst Belfast is a bit meh. Of course, with Belfast you can research the battleships, but still. Anyways, back to Italy. Yeah, Diamond is a powder keg as well, but I didn't find the Darings to be that bad. I think the rear rack is a bit of a powder keg, but the front racks isn't, like the rest of the British destroyers. I don't know, really. I'm really bad with recommending premiums, especially now that the big BR change is happening. I've always been bad with recommending premiums because that's not how I grind. So yeah. I think Belfast is not great either. It's really squishy. The guns only have sap, and they're 6-inch guns, so they're light cruiser guns with only sap. It means that you have really hard time dealing with armor, like even heavy cruiser armor, and depending on the heavy cruiser, of course. So it's a bit of a too late. Either way, Belfast is still a cool ship. It's not like terrible bad. It's just not, like with most of the British tech tree, it is not. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just there. It's mediocre, but like not in a bad. It's mediocre, but not in a bad sense, and not in a good sense. It just is purely mediocre. Fill up tier once more. We take these. Like if it's a ship you want for collection purposes, I'm never going to stop you. I would be very hypocritical if I ever stopped somebody from getting a premium ship for collection purposes. As somebody who owns every single Japanese ship, and with every I do mean every. So yeah. It's not great, it's not terrible. It does things. You definitely want to focus the squishier targets if you can in Belfast, and you do not want to expose yourself. It is incredibly squishy. The things I haven't played those British cruisers in ages either. They're light cruisers. I do actually remember when I played the Southampton, kind of liking it. No, I didn't like Southampton. I liked Liverpool back when it was lower BR than Southampton. It was actually quite mean. But the British 6-inch guns with only sap is a bit rough. The light cruisers for the US, I don't see being a problem for the British guns. They're not that well armored. But again, I haven't played these cruisers in ages, so I don't really know. Yeah, obviously, I am going to get Yamato first. It's not a question. It's just what I am going to do. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to go for next, though. Like whether I grind my other tech trees or go for Iowa. I probably should go for Iowa after it immediately. But at the same time, it just... I don't know. I'll see when I get there, really. Yeah, like... But are you aware of the BR changes? Rusky Blusky? Fantastic name. Because that's going to be... I just don't want to play Blue Water nowadays because of the BR changes. And because of new battleships and stuff like that, so I'm just grinding my ghosts. Well, because the reason is a lot of like cruiser BR is actually being decompressed alongside battleships. With a lot of the more dangerous 7.0s actually moving up to 7.7. Stuff like the Rodney, Warspite, Hood even. Losing a lot of crew. I get Iowa being behind Tennessee. But I can get why people thought it would be after Alaska. Because Tennessee is like the anti-air battleship line, whilst Alaska is the battlecruiser line, so to speak. So I can understand it coming off. The thing is, it doesn't really matter after which ship it comes, because you need all of rank 6 anyways. But yeah. Mississippi's going to 7.7. Mississippi's going to 7.7. Together with Colorado and Tennessee. I know, Phoenix. I know. But it is what it is. Bismarck and Vanguard, I don't have either. Vanguard being an 8.0 is probably the best for it. I wouldn't complain about it. Bismarck being 8.3, sure. I see Bismarck just getting annihilated though by the battleships around it. Vanguard I have generally no clue about. I don't know how it'll perform. And either way, I think all of the new top battleships are going to be cool ships. Like, I can't wait to get the Richelieu just because of how cool it is. But I don't think it'll be a good ship in any way, shape or form. Well, I say that.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Yes, technically. While your 6.3 premium cruiser, the Baltimore, not the Baltimore, the Des Moines, is going up to 6.7, so yike. And I think Helena, let me actually look what Helena is going up to, if it's going up.
Just keep it up, and victory.
Helena is not moving up. So Helena is staying 6.0, whilst there's stuff going to 7.3 and 7.7. Like, for the American battleships, Nevada, Arizona and Alaska are going to 7.3, Tennessee, Mississippi, Colorado to 7.7. For other nations you have stuff like Barham going up to 7.3, Warspite, Rodney and Hood going to 7.7. You've got the Congos going to 7.3, Ise and Fuso to 7.7, Amagi and Mutsu to 7.7. Which, that's weird to me, Ise and Fuso being the same battle rating as Amagi and Mutsu, but okay. You've got the Italian battleships going to 7.3. The Strasbourg going to 7.3 as well. So yeah, lots of battleships being moved out of EC. Not out of EC, out of Cruiser BR.
massima velocità.
I got confused by the last comment.
Tirare tutto a babordo.
But yeah, it should really alleviate a lot of pressure upon the later cruisers. And I'm looking forward to it.
Timone.
A few, actually, no, not that many late cruisers are actually going up. A lot of the 5.7s are going up to 6.0, with a lot of destroyers also moving up in BR. But I don't think a lot of 6.0s are actually moving up to 6.3 in terms of cruisers. Actually, no, the Baltimores are moving to 6.3. But I think that's about it. For 6.3 cruisers. Yeah, looks like it. Invincible is not going up, but it is being moved down to rank 4, HMS Invincible, which should make it cheaper to research and spade. But then again, also giving you less rewards. But oh well.
Timone a tribordo.
Jabari, rare sight. Kind of. There are some that are moving up and some that aren't. Some of the current 6.0 dreadnoughts are going back up to 6.3, but some of them aren't. Like Colossus is moving up to 6.3, but Dreadnought remains 6.0. Same with Setsu, same, but not same with the North Dakota. North Dakota is going up to 6.3 again. So there will still be 6.0 dreadnoughts, just lesser, fewer, whatever.
Bersaglio individuato. Nave da pattuglia.
Haven't really been doing much this much. You know what? I think, can I post a link in my own chat? Let's see. Is that visible to everybody? Because that should be the spreadsheet. There we go. Fantastic.
Pericolo di acque poco profondo avanti. Bersaglio localizzato. Timone a babordo. Sì, signore. Tirare a babordo.
A little more effort and victory will be ours.
Nemico distrutto. Rotta verso la valle.
Yeah, the summoners are moving up. But again, a lot of destroyers are moving up. You should see it less as the summoners going up, but literally the entire late destroyer bracket just moving up a step to alleviate pressure of the lower BRs of destroyers. I believe their opponents will largely be the same, with a few more dangerous cruisers. But to be honest, it was bound to happen. It was bound to happen that the summoners moved up to 5.0. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's no coastal changes, but because so many destroyers are moving up, that in itself alleviates pressure from high tier coastal. Yeah, the Des Moines going to 6.7 is a spicy one. I don't know why it has such an inflated battle rating. I don't know. It could be, but I think the decompression is good enough for this update. Can always be decompressed more. Every game mode can always be decompressed more, but I think it's a very good step in the right direction for this update. There's also a lot of folders. That's something I want to point out. There's a lot of ships, a lot of cruisers being folded in with each other. I think 10.0 might be a bit of a stretch, because you might actually run into matchmaking issues if you push to 10.0. But maybe. Maybe.
A massima velocità. Tutto a tribordo.
Because the problem if you push up to 10.0 is that you'll really start struggling with making lineups, and that's not ideal.
Timone, a mezza nave. Timone a mezza nave. Sì, signore.
So let's actually test what these...
Preparare bombe
Oh,
di
they do launch one by one still. Pretty big booms. That's the funny part. The original reserve destroyer, well, reserve destroyers back in the day were 3.7 at their lowest, so yeah. It kind of does, but at the same time it makes sense. Kronstadt is really not as dangerous as people make it out to be anymore. It is incredibly fragile. Sharn, sure, Sharn is a bit of a problem. But with the new way that fire spreads through barbets, they have been much less of one.
Timone, tirare
But this guy is like a reload on the... No. It just has 2 spares which reload. Weird.
timone a babordo. Sì, signore. Girare a babordo.
No, it doesn't. Okay.
Bombe di profondità.
Kinda cool.
Poste di combattimento. Nemico avvistato.
Commencing attack.
I really cannot wait for the next update. It is, unironically, the biggest naval update since New Power in 2020, and I'm very hyped for it. And there's still 3 more updates for the rest of the year, so yep, gonna be very exciting. Are we in a down tier? Might be. Good kill on the M17. Oh, that's a valuable target.
Timone a tribordo. Bersaglio individuato. Guarda.
Oh, come on, guns, behave. There we go.
Il nemico si inclina. Effetto velocità. Nemico colpito. Tutto a tribordo. Tutto a babordo. Sì, signore. Bersaglio individuato. Marca.
There's a barge. That's bombarded. Oh, there's a more juicy target over there.
Bersaglio individuato. Marca.
You say that, but I've heard a lot of complaints about the amount of premiums this update. And to be honest, there are quite a few premiums coming. But either way, I'm not complaining as a naval main / Japanese main.
Bersaglio individuato. Marca.
One thing that I have been very curious about now is the fact that we're going to get a naval event in August, and I genuinely have no clue what that event ship will be. I think the possibility of it being a battleship is still very high, but I genuinely don't know. Oh, you dodged before my VT can actually land. I feel bad for the burner because he is at BR, but it's just bad. I don't know if Indianapolis would really be worth the event vehicle, to be honest. At the same time, it is a historically very famous ship, but it's just an American treaty cruiser. And I don't think that'll be really something that'll draw a lot of people in. I know, Phoenix. Also, I don't think it'll be any one of the new top tier ships. I know we had Strasbourg, which is wild, but at the same time, I don't think it'll be any of the new 8.7s as an event, because that's yeek. That's not good. Because at least the argument you could give for Strasbourg is the fact that Strasbourg was not a 7.0. Then again, we have gotten 7.0 battleships, but then again, all the 7.0 battleships we did get were not meta top tier ships, whilst in New Jersey most definitely would be. So I don't see it happening anytime soon. Then again, when you think about it, like I'm going to bounce back and forth because I'm conflicted about it as well. I think my biggest gripe about it being a 8.7 would be the fact that that would make one nation have two ships, two top tier ships, which nobody else would have, and that would be a problem. That hasn't happened before with event ships. One nation having the more meta lineup because of an event ship than all other nations, and a New Jersey or any other Iowa would do that. But on the other hand, there are really no more battleships to add, so who cares? But I think the main reason will be just to not cause an imbalance in lineups. I also wouldn't imagine a KGV, because a KGV arguably... I need to be aware of torpedoes. The KGV is arguably a better ship than Vanguard, because it has better armor than Vanguard, and I would actually go as far as to say that 10 14-inch guns are better than 8 15-inch. Again, I don't think Squadron, Premium, Event, whatever, of the new top tier ships, that's not going to happen for a while, until we get more tech tree lineup fillers or a new top tier. Like a new top tier ship type, or BR, or whatever. I could be wrong, of course, I could always be wrong. I just don't see it happening. My engines are knocked out, that's nice. Of course it's not us. Why am I repairing my engine? I don't need them. Although I don't know why the friendly hasn't captured the B point. That's kind of a mistake, not gonna lie. But I'll be able to capture it. What the fuck are you? Okay, that's just a wreck. There we go. Yeah, as I've said before, I think future naval updates are going to be very interesting, because top tier is top tier now. That's the top of battleships. I'm not looked into the plane, so the guns aren't aligned properly. There we go. There are plenty of like event destroyers and cruisers they can add. I've said this multiple times before as well, but there's like 4 or 5 Japanese cruisers I'd love to see that make really good event ships. Then again, I am heavily biased in favor towards Japanese ships. There goes a wingtip. There goes more than a wing. There goes both wings, and there goes the plane. There is a boat sneaking up on us. Yeah, Maya would be cool. I still hold out hope for Oyodo, because that unironically is my favorite ship for Japan. My favorite cruiser. I think it's just my favorite ship. It's so weird and wacky. And I think to my knowledge, outside of aircraft carriers, the only Japanese ship to actually carry 100mm guns as secondary guns. I knew you were going to come into the gap. I knew it. That's why I backed up. Launch the torpedo. My guns, for the love of God. Close range finding is always wrong. Great. It isn't. We're good. We're fine.
Motori, arresto totale. Bersaglio agganciato e monitorato.
Most of the zones are under control.
I don't know why the Beauforts are just so quiet on this ship. Because when you fire them yourself, you'll have the proper volume.
Motori, indietro.
We've captured most of the strategic zones.
There's a Portes, okay, not really that threatening of a bomber. Reloading.
Bersaglio localizzato. Bersaglio aereo distrutto.
It's when they fly straight at you that the VT just flies straight in their face.
Controllo dei danni alle impostazioni. Timone, tirare tutto a babordo.
Anybody attack him!
There is a destroyer behind us.
Defend the sea point.
And it's game over.
Missione completata.
Decent match. And a decent amount of RP as well. And another camo unlocked. Tricolor geometric for Alcione. Let's see. Ooh, that's actually pretty nice. Let's use that. But I do need to change the flag again. Not that sail customization, come on. It's a national flag, is it? It's special. You have to load. it isn't in special. Is it in national? Oh god, what's the flag called again? Italian naval jack. Okay. Why am I doing this a hard way around when I can just do the easy way and just link camouflages? There we go. And we just do that. There we go. Just a flag on the back of the boat. It's just that this flag you actually earned from the Alcyone event, so it just flies on the Alcyone. Yep, if you buy a flag, you have it for all your ship, just like decals, just like, yeah, how it works. Hence why on most of my ships, if I actually remember to do it, although I don't usually do anymore, I also have... I'm not going to change it. Just a Belgian ship flag, because why not? And it seems it's right there, all the way to the end. Okay. But yeah, if you buy it once, you can equip it on all your ships. Anyways, on to the next match. Queue times have been surprisingly quick today, so that's fun. And Volcanic Island isn't too bad for a frigate, especially with this middle spawn point. But yeah. I think so. I've seen on some Discord servers, I've seen a bit of an influx of people trying out naval now, which I've never really understood the rationality of seeing us getting 14-inch, 15-inch, 16-inch battleships, and then never playing naval until you have to grind an entire tech tree to actually get the ship you want. Like, if I didn't play naval since the beginning, and I just wanted to get Yamato, let's say, in the far future, and I saw them add battleships, I would have made the logical leap forward to say, oh, they will eventually add Yamato, let's start grinding now so I can get it as soon as possible. But no, you instead have people saying, oh, I will not touch naval until they add this one top-tier ship I want, so I have to grind the entire tech tree before getting there. Like, what? Really? I just don't understand that. Then again, there's many things I don't understand about how some people play this game. Yeah, depends. I wouldn't say it takes years. Even, of course, I have played this game free to play a long time ago. And the one thing I do remember is that I did the entire Japanese air tree, though I do have to note that that was before... That was at a time where the Japanese air tree's maximum was just the Kika and the Ki-200, and no other jets. I did that with no premium time, no premium planes, in a year. And that was playing quite a lot during evenings. And yeah, I do realize that grinding up an entire structure takes a while, but that's also the reason why I don't understand people saying, oh, I will only play naval when they add this top tier ship. Instead of like saying, okay, I see that they're adding these kind of ships, eventually they'll add the ship I want, maybe I should start grinding now so I can get up to speed. But no. Damn, man. I should probably stick to the B point, but I don't want to really go into the B point because it'll limit my oh. The thing is about yeah, I think that must have just been a shot straight into your magazine because that was violent. But yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about grinding through 3 that quickly, because destroyers, cruisers, battleships are all very different playstyles, and I find I'll often return to just playing destroyers because I find them fun. I'll return to playing cruisers because they're fun. So there's absolutely no reason to just rush through attack 3 or trying to get to the top tier ships as quickly as possible. Because you might get to that famous battleship, only to realize you really don't like battleship gameplay. Like, the reason why I grind attack trees is not because I need to get to a certain ship, it's not because I want to play some kind of meta. I just want to collect boats, I want to play boats, I want to spade them. So whether I take 2 weeks or 2 years over attack 3, don't really care. Yeah, the strength box has been there the entire time, that's kind of scary. Kill assist is fine, although no explicit rewards earned for it, but it did very little damage, that's understandable. I'm going to hide behind this rock. This rock is going to become my friend.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Yeah, I don't know. There are quite a few people that just don't see... You know what I think actually is a bigger problem? Not the fact that it's different from mouse, because I think more people will realize it quickly, that the games are very different. I think it's people thinking that naval is just literally ground battles, but just on water, and it just isn't. The way you have to think about maps and engage targets is way different. Okay, okay, okay. Gun raise, please. Okay. I did not see that P-61 coming. I was a bit too tunnel vision on the other target. That was my mistake. Yeah, exactly. This might also sound weird and a bit harsh to free-to-play players, but I have been... I think I've definitely switched to thinking of War Thunder as a... oh, what's the word for this? Subscription-based game rather than a free-to-play game. And it just makes the game so different. It's not... Yeah, yes and no, but I don't really want to use the term pay to progress, because that implies that there is a hard limit that you have to pay through to progress. You don't have to. I just have started considering this game as a subscription-based game with a free trial, basically. Although trial would also imply that same hard limit. Imply that same hard limit. And the thing is... Yeah, basically, but again, I don't really like the term pay to progress, just call it a subscription-based game. This is a bit fairer, I think. And the thing is, it's not even that expensive of a subscription, quote-unquote. I think if you'd never bought battle passes, never bought any premium vehicles, a year's worth of premium with 50% off is like 35 euros, 30 euros, something like that. For a year. And then again, it also depends on how much time you actually put into this game, and I myself put a lot of time into this game. Yeah. I think, I honestly, I would never be able to go back to playing this game free to play. I just couldn't, without premium time. I think premium vehicles is different because I've never really used premium vehicles as a grinding tool. I've always ever used them for collection purposes and that's it. And the odd SL earner here and there. So that's maybe just Frank Knox. Swing the ship around. Get the guns on the target. I don't think... I'm trying to remember if I actually played ground free-to-play, or if I already started getting premium time back then. I don't remember, it's been so long. What on earth is a Fletcher doing there? That is some advanced level spawn camping, my guy. I mean, that's still a pretty long term. That's don't underestimate. That's 8 years. That's a pretty long time. I started earlier than that. They did also have like a year or two break in between there somewhere. Yeah, this 2017 is 8 years ago. My God, that is. I'd rather not think about it as well, but it will. It is what it is. This might sound incredibly pathetic depending on what kind of type of person you are, but I've played this game for literally half my life. And I didn't know what to think about that. I am, just in case you're wondering, I'm 26. And I've been playing this for 13 years. It is wild. And if anything, I'm happy to see that this game is still going strong after 13 years. Like, that's the thing I think I consider myself lucky with. I didn't play this game through Steam, because I had a few misadventures when updating the game. I've had it happen twice, years ago, where Steam would download the major update twice, which was a real pain in the ass. So it would download the update, you could launch the game, you play a bit, but then it would crash and re-download the update in its entirety, and that happened twice to me, and then I never played it on Steam again. So I don't know, I don't have a total track of my hours, other than what the in-game stats will say, and I'd rather not look at the stats. I think it's a little, it's bad. This is a really close match. That is a Kako. That is a full-on heavy cruiser staring down, oh boy. Okay, she got a buff, but I can't deal with heavy cruisers. Luckily, I think he just overpants, so I'm fine. Not really fine, but I'm fine. We'll just pretend like Bikako isn't there, and the problem will pass. I'm going to be the death that will lose this game, though. Yep. Oh, that's sad. But there's not much I can really do about that, is there? I could have tried to get behind that block, but... Oh well. I think I would take a quick peek at my stat card. It's the funny part about the stat card, so it'll record time played in ships, but not battleships. There is no time statistics for time played in battleships after 5 years of us having battleships. So that is funny. But yeah, I've played this game for too long. That's all I'm going to say. Exactly. Priorities. I think time in enduring confrontation EC also doesn't get counted in the stat card. Oh, this map again. Okay, but this time we got the other spawn, and this has a much better route towards the sea point. So it should be a bit better. Let's respond in kind.
Tutti ai posti di combattimento.
Terranova is for something, Karl Marx is for 7, set for 7. French in the name team again. As well as Bob the Boulder apparently. And there's no Maha 5-0. I don't know. They're very good at adding new vehicles, but they're not really that great at updating UI elements and stuff like that, in my opinion. Like, for squadrons, I can't actually access that at the moment, but for squadrons you can set a requirement, a vehicle requirement. Like, have X amount of battles in X difficulty in tanks or aircraft or ships. The thing is, if you want to apply that requirement for ships, that doesn't work. It's been in the game for like 2 years. Doesn't work, ever since it got introduced. So, yeah.
Somebody attack him!
Oh, French is on a light cruiser, that's not a good sign.
Bersaglio individuato. Incrociatore leggero.
I really prefer if French was not in a cruiser. Emden. Oh, gold, he's in the German lineup then. I must have heard my comments about the Fritz accent. Yep.
Timone a babordo.
Sì, signore. Girare a babordo.
That is indeed an Emden. And I only caught him for a glimpse. Did see an
Timone a
Emden.
tribordo.
Sì, signore. Girare a tribordo. Caccia torpediniere. 340. 9000 metri.
Yeah, this map is just great for frigates.
Caccia torpediniere.
340. 9000 metri.
I really like this map for destroyers. It's a really good map, especially when I do my shenanigans around the A point. Frigates, not great. Especially when we're taking shell fire from cruisers.
Incrociatore leggero.
fired first, so we have to fire back. Not that my HE only will do anything, other than maybe hurt a bit of crew. Switch on the radar just in case we see a float plane or something like that as well. As a K2, also a very tough target for us to deal with HE. Yeah, over there. Should be an easy target. Frenchie is indeed an anthem. That's gonna be rough. Leaving that Amiens 1% crew though, that's annoying. Come on. Yep, he's just right there. That's scary. That's a scary place for an anthem to be. So this is a weird part about the K2. I don't know how many of you remember the unsinkability mechanic, where you need to destroy 3 hull segments except for the front and rear one. So that's not possible on K2, because it only has 4 segments.
The Allied forces have captured a zone.
Oh, and Astra, you're enjoying the Bayern? Yeah, Bayerns are actually pretty good. They're having better than normal reload speeds on 15-inch guns is nice. I do hope you're taking a reduced ammo load, because the Bayerns do like to blow up when their magazines, well, their barbettes get on fire. The unsinkability mechanic, it's fine. It's been implemented well, and if I were actually decent at making videos at any decent rate, I am working on a summary of this current update, and I genuinely think it's been implemented well. Okay, 2-1 ahead for cover without me noticing, and of course my rear gun got knocked out. You know, I have no complaints about the unsinkability mechanic. I think it's been implemented well. It is not the main way to sink something, but it is something you can do. Torpedoes actually benefit from it the most. Not influence. How do you say this? They work with the mechanic the most. They have the largest impact on your unsinkability. Torpedoes do, as well as mines. Okay. There was a lot of negativity when it was on the dev server, and deservedly so, because it was the quickest way to sink something. It was much quicker than crew killing and any other kind of killing, really. But that got resolved as it went in the live server, and now it's fine. Yeah. Yeah, a moth is shooting at me. Is he sinking? Looks like it. Probably. You could probably do, well, I don't know about more compartments. I don't know, maybe like sided compartments, so you have a left and right side. Could be more interesting. And maybe a bit more on some of the larger ships, sure. There's definitely some fine-tuning still to be done, but I think it's fine. I think the implementation is it works, it's alright. I don't have any complaints about it. Counter-flooding technically is a thing, but it is kind of lame in the way it works. So counter-flooding... Well, counter-flooding, actually, is it still a thing? Because it used to be a thing with the permanent flooding, but permanent flooding is no longer a thing, so counter-flooding no longer is a thing either, is it? Huh. I haven't actually think about that. Yeah, I don't know what this... I think it's... hold on. I think it's just shell catchers, actually, just for the shell ejections. I'm not entirely sure what those fins on the rear of the turrets are. But they do look neat. They might just be part of the loading mechanism to house it. Not entirely sure. I only had one shell loaded in each gun. Okay. Okay. Destroyer. And it's a player. Knock out his guns, please. HE shells, thank you. Why is it just this road going to a halt? I'm throwing off my aim. Speed juking. That's not allowed. What is that? PB4Y? Okay, interesting choice. Okay, got the kill. Bridge. That's a German destroyer. I don't need my bridge though, luckily. I do need a gun. I would like that gun back. Just get into the gap. Just get into the gap. That shouldn't be a thing anymore. I thought they fixed that bug. But forced auto repair isn't a thing anymore. It used to be a bug with the join in progress option selected. So if you had the option to join battles already in progress, you'd sometimes get the bug where you were forced to auto repair everything. I believe they said they fixed that, but it should no longer be a problem. But yeah.
Dei danni per riparazione delle parti. Nuotare in compartimenti allagati.
I'm never killing an Emden with 76 military chi, but you can try. Yeah, it killed me a few times as well when I was playing Bravi a while ago. But it is a bug purely on join in progress. I don't have join in progress on anymore. I usually actually don't. Because matchmaking is fast enough as is, really. Like, actually, it's not that slow. And, yeah. The easiest way to fix that bug was to just not have it on. There is an enemy aircraft approaching. There's one above me. Oh. Okay, okay, we're good, we're good, we're good, we're good. We're good. Absolutely
Bersaglio
fine.
individuato. Aeromobile d'attacco. Timone a tribordo! Sì, signore! Pilari a tribordo! Preparare le parti. Iniziare il controllo dei danni. Bersaglio localizzato.
The Emden has been bullied, I believe. Bullied to death. I'm going to bully to death by destroyers though.
Bersaglio individuato. Attacco torpediere.
And a cruiser. There's more cruisers. What I'm most looking forward to, Yamato. I don't really care much for Bismarck. And I missed that comment by a long shot at Astro, but yeah, I'm most looking forward to Yamato. I don't really have any strong want for Bismarck.
Velocità. Bersaglio individuato. Attacco torpediere.
To be perfectly honest, outside of just wanting Yamato for collection purposes, I don't actually have that much of a strong interest in any of these new battleships. As I said before, the most interesting part of this update is what it means for future updates and the decompression. I mean, yeah, it's perfectly fine to not care about any of them, really, in my opinion. Iowa is definitely very cool, very fun for anti-air customs. There's so much DACA.
Engaging the enemy.
Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento. Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento. Caccia torpediniere. 4.000 metri. Posti di combattimento. Nemico avvistato. Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento. Timone a tribordo. Sì, signore.
Right. I completely forgot that Frenchie in this game is a German.
Also taken by the enemy.
So luckily I do have an air search radar on. Although, the thing, Astro, about the IO of the jets... Which jets? Because... you did see the BR changes, right? Actually, let me dig up those BR changes again to see aircraft. Because basically, any aircraft that had guided weapons got pushed out of the battle rating range for naval. Except for Scimitar technically, but that's also because Scimitar is 8.7 realistic, so you can't bring it anyways. And even if you could bring it in arcade... Release target number one. There we go. Lucky. Some of those VT shells already hitting him. But I was not going to get hit by that.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento.
So I got far out there. Really far out there.
Bersaglio individuato. Nave da pattuglia. 8-0. Timone a tribordo. Sì, sì. Nave a tribordo. Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento. Bersaglio agganciato.
There's there as well. The boat 17, okay. I think you say that that's never gonna happen, but I think we will see a modernized Iowa at some point. I don't see why we wouldn't. Like, even without the missiles, they'll probably add a modernized Iowa. You could always add the missiles to it later, whenever the game's ready for it.
Motori a massima velocità. Timone a mezza nave. Timone a mezza nave. Sì, signore. Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see
Bersaglio
what the fate of anti-ship missiles will be.
mobile d'attacco. 8.000 metri. Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento.
Oh, yes, there we go, there we go. Some good VT hits. That's a tail crippled and some wing damage as well. Perfect.
Bersaglio agganciato e monitorato. Bersaglio
Well, radar guidance and VT can't do.
colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento. Abbiamo perso l'agganciamento del bersaglio.
Not the most active match, but still okay.
Bersaglio localizzato. Timone a tribordo. Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento.
Actually, 6k.
Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento.
Let's keep the pressure on. Victory is close.
Caccia torpediniere. 1-0-0.
I'm shooting into a mountain, so that's not gonna help. And that's gonna be game over.
Il nemico è stato sconfitto. Comunicare la vittoria al quartier
Oh, I
generale.
just got a hit there. Darn. And still a decent chunk of RP, not complaining. But I think we'll do one more and then call it a night. So just one more match. It doesn't, Astro. It doesn't. Because the FJ4B VMF 232 is being moved up to 9.3. For naval only, I should say. That event FJ4B is being moved up to 9.3 only in naval. Just over that comment. Yes, the I think the notable planes that can still be used are the IL-28s and the Canberras. Those are going to be the most notable jet bombers, but other than that, nothing new really. Yeah, some more fighter bombers of 1,000-pounders, but I'm not too worried. So again, I must say I'm not too worried because I play realistic battles. I don't want to think of what's going to happen in arcade, but I think arcade is already beyond saving, to be honest. But okay, yeah. Well, again, we'll have to see. I do know that Canberras can be pretty mean. I've used Canberras in custom battles before against ships, and you can bomb out of anti-air range quite easily. And this map again, but now on this side once more. Yeah. Gonna be a bit of a stinking map to end tonight on, but we'll do our best.
Tutti ai posti di combattimento. Motori a massima velocità. Timone a babordo. Sì, signore. Rivale a babordo. Allerta collisione.
And of course it's full up there again. Porter is feeling quite brave, already shooting at the enemy. And you can see that their shells are going to land somewhere next year. You can see through the smoke. How many salvos in the air is that? 7? The first one just landing now?
Posti di combattimento. Nemico avvistato.
The coast on B, that's good to see.
Timone a tribordo.
Hopefully you can hold the B point. I think 5.0 is just, it's the late destroyers, early cruisers. It's just a bit of a focal point for newer players to naval, as it is the transition from fast-paced destroyers to the slower cruisers. It's like the first hurdle in the Blue Water grind, I think. That, and there just is a lot of 4750 for a lot of nations. Whilst there are relatively few 5.3s.
Timone a babordo.
Then you do have quite a few 5.7s again. But that kind of gets sucked up into the higher BRs. So, not really. Oh yeah, it's not even just the American destroyers, it's just the Frank Knox. Granted, the Moffat can also print SL, but Frank Knox is more than enough. I had a match in Frank Knox a week or 2-3 ago with a 500% SL booster, 1.4 million silver lines. I mean, yeah, there's these new battleships offer a lot of custom battle fun, little custom battle possibilities. And I can guarantee that a lot of those are going to get filtered out or filtered in as the update goes live. I don't know, I haven't played 5.7 in ages. I don't think I've ever earned more than 2 million SL. I think that 1.4 million of my Frank Knox is genuinely my record.
Gramercy.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know in what manner 5.7 is a down tier. Does it just see other 5.7s, or does it actually go down to 4.7? I don't know. I haven't played 5.7 recently enough to really know what. Oh, I really wish I still had a few more shells because his 37s are about to blow up. Or at least I thought they were.
Squadre antincendio! Controllo degli scompartimenti chiave!
Where does it go? Just off the map. And then not enough crew. And there goes more ammo. And there we go. Look at the Fletcher heading off. Hopefully the Fletcher can actually deal with it.
Motori, arresto totale!
Keep it up. The victory will be ours.
That's with bridge, make me unable to turn. If guys at 10%, the Fletcher should be able to deal with them at least.
Kept advantage.
Posti di combattimento.
Somebody captured the sea point in the meantime.
Controllo dei danni alle postazioni! Motori a un terzo! Timone, a mezza nave!
The Italian naval voice lines still being the best naval voice lines there are.
Bersaglio colpito! Timone a tribordo!
Bagley should not be able to cap the sea point, but he will decap it at this rate. Which is still a problem. Yeah, there he goes. But he's not going to survive long enough to actually cap it.
Il nemico si inclina e perde velocità! Tutto a tribordo!
That's good, sir.
Somebody attack him!
Bersaglio agganciato!
Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento.
Timone a babordo!
Sì, signore. Virare a babordo.
Bersaglio localizzato!
Keep an eye out on this Stuka.
Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento.
Bersaglio agganciato e monitorato! Caccia torpediniere! 300! 11.000 metri!
Tutto a babordo. Sì, signore. Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento.
shooting in the sky. Now they should be on target. Both my guns are reloading, but I don't think the stick is going for me.
Motori, tutto a poppa.
There goes his wing. Kill.
Timone, a mezza nave.
That got lost by an That-47 again.
Bersaglio individuato. Bombardiere. Bersaglio localizzato.
Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento.
Tutto a bordo.
There's an AI, okay. I was wondering why he wasn't just stopping short of the cap.
5.000 metri. Motori, arresto totale.
A rank 5 Soviet Blue Water. I would have to check what is rank 5 again. But I would say consider Maria. Because Imperatrice Maria's rate of fire is going up from 2 rounds a minute to 3 rounds a minute. And that is pretty good. Also, I'm not entirely sure if that change will actually make it to live, so don't yet. And also, actually just wait until the update comes out before Talisman and anything. Because there's very big PR changes, very big shuffling of ships in the tech tree. So just wait. Just wait until the update comes out. I don't know why the Maria has changed. I didn't see any reasoning for it. There will probably be some explanation in a comment on the forum. But all I know is that the Maria's fire rate is going from 2 RPM to 3, which is a big change. And a good change for it, but still weird. The weirdest part is that it's getting its rate of fire increased by 50%, but not an increase in BR. So it's staying at, I believe, 6-7, and getting an increased rate of fire.
Timone a tribordo. Bersaglio individuato. Caccia torpediniere. 2000 metri.
Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento.
Bersaglio individuato. Caccia torpediniere.
Pressing the German destroyer for cap, sadly. Yeah, let me check what Russia actually has at rank 5. And if I don't remember for some reason, don't be afraid to ask me again whilst this is by chance.
Enemy forces have captured
Yeah, I'll look at what rank 5 Russia has.
Timone, tirare tutto a tribordo.
Tutto a tribordo! Sì, signore!
Abbiamo ritornati.
Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento!
Caccia torpediniere. 6.000 metri. Timone, a mezza nave.
Timone a mezza nave! Sì, signore!
Timone, tirare tutto a bordo.
Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento!
What is shelling me? I think it's the Buckley over there.
Postazione di riparazione.
It's a light cruiser, that's not even trying to fight that.
Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento!
Controllo dei danni alle postazioni.
The enemy is winning.
Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento!
Caccia torpediniere. UFO 280. 10.000 metri.
Postazione di
And we just rush towards the seapoint. Yeah, I had a sneaking suspicion that there's going to be a lot of destroyers on my left side. But there's not much I can do about it if I want to try and win the game.
Caccia torpediniere.
long as they're not behind me left, it's fine.
Siamo stati colpiti sotto la linea di galleggiamento.
Taglio individuato.
Guy seems to have lost his fuel tanks already. That was wrong. I cannot penetrate his engines. Good to know. Good to know.
Timone. Tirare tutto a tribordo.
Too late with that realization, but yeah. Okay, plus 7%. 1% more. Surely I can find that 1% before my power evens out. Yo. And there is something behind me. And I'm already ready to crew. Yeah, there we go. Let's spawn a bit also, but this match is over.
Abbandonare la nave.
I'm really happy the torpedo was not headed straight for my bow, because that would not have made me very happy. That would have been a real downer if I just got sunk by a torpedo in spawn.
Timone a babordo.
There's an aircraft up, I can see it. And there we go, game over. Oh well. Still not the worst result, despite the up tier and horrendous map. Okay. I think I got to land around about 70,000 RP towards Alana today. So that's very good progress. But now, Russian Blue Water rank 5. What is at rank 5? Kutuzov. Let's see, what has the highest RP modifier? You know what? I am sticking to my judgment of Maria. I would wait, let me actually just double check the BR changes for Maria, if it's moving up in rank or not. Or down in rank. Maria, where is it? There it is. No, Maria is staying at the same battle rating, same rank, it just increased in rate of fire. I would put it in Maria, because it has the highest RP modifier of that rank. Yeah. That should do it. And that will be it for tonight for me as well. It's been another hour and a half, well, 3.5 hours actually. And yeah, just played some Italian frigates. Working towards my Italian Coastal 3 completion. Next week, probably more coastals if we don't have the update. I don't think we'll have the update yet by next week. So probably more coastals, maybe Germany. Maybe going to the 3-0s, although I really don't like the 3-0s. Maybe some Russians. Who knows? Either way, thank you all for coming to watch. I will see you all next week.